Good morning, everybody. I'll be right back in a little bit, so
Good morning.
yo, I'll be right back. You guys can kick it off if you want. I'm just grabbing a coffee.
Yeah, it's fine. We can get started. No worries. Let's give everybody a few more minutes, though. Good morning, Stock 51. How's it going? Morning, champ. Tony, what's up, Tony? Good morning. SPX, new all-time highs. Looky there. Just like that. It started here in about a minute. Today. Good morning, Anthony. Juro money around.
I am here.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Welcome to get started whenever you feel like it.
Okay, I think we can get started. Not a whole lot to say about the overnight action, other than we continued to base out at the highs overnight and then made new highs here early this morning. We're currently trading around 76.30 on SPX, and again,
Mm.
yes, SPX kind of in this just lockout rally mode. So hard to short and hard to find new long entries as well. We gapped up on Sunday. We saw a huge trend day yesterday. We based out at the highs. Now we're making new highs again. So a little bit of a difficult environment to come into today's RTH session. Just be a little bit cautious. At some point, we are going to see some form of a pullback. We have no idea when that's going to be. We certainly could continue higher today. It's just a little bit harder to take new entries in this context. And if you're playing individual names, just make sure that they've got individual strength and catalysts, ideally, because the market certainly could be a little bit more choppy and consolidate, which would not be strange at all after the huge move we've made in the last 3 days. As far as the gamma positioning, the important areas to watch: 76.35 above us is what I would use as the pivot today. You've got to clear 76.35 in order to test 76.50. There's a fairly large position on the tape. 76.50, that could be a magnet, and it could be the upper part of today's range. My guess would be a range between 7600 and 7650, with that 76.35 pivot kind of in the middle there. Early in the session, you need to see us clear 76.35 for that continuation up. If we do pull back to the downside, I like that 7600 area as support, a possible long off of that area. And then the downside would open up if 7600 were to fail. So those are the pivots that I would be watching, that 7600, 7650 possible range today.
Okay, okay.
On mute. Okay. PLTR is my focus today. I think the market could be a way to simplify, but Liking the structure on PLTR after earnings. On the daily, we've been trying to bottom now for a couple months after getting stuck in a pretty nasty range after a huge attempt to break out to the upside back in June. That broke to the downside later in June, and then we just kind of have been coiling into earnings, now getting a nice reaction. So it's still a little bit of a tough range, but it is breaking out of this downtrend on earnings. So liking that from big picture with the market context as well to see this name kind of pick back up again. We have trending structure in the pre-market. This dip earlier back to 143 really reset the RSI nicely for the open. So two ways to play. Opening drive, we're kind of creeping up here, so we'll see where we're at in 20 minutes. But opening drive above pre-market highs, you have 150 above as very quick resistance. You'd want to see clear and hold, or if we dip, you want to see 143 hold or sweep quickly, and then turn for a play to the upside. If you start to dip on a first move down below 143, then it's hands off for maybe a give and go around 140 or so. But really good report, double beat. Looks like it's trying to finally break out on the daily, turn the corner. The risk in this, the market can't hold new highs. And this attempt fails. A lot of times you'll see stocks that are trying to break out of downtrends on gap ups get kind of sold back into the range. So that's why you want to really honor stops at these certain levels. So above 143, really I maintain bullish, even better above 150. So that's what I'm going to focus on today. And then if the market ends up pulling back a bit, and even if it doesn't, because we've seen Apple be relatively weak regardless, that 300 level on Apple is really defined after a pretty weak day yesterday. That is it from my side.
All right, cool. Yeah, I like that 300 downside Apple level. I think that could be a really nice play. And a couple others, Google 376 is what I'm watching. That'd be continuation above yesterday's highs. Also, be a break of that. I guess the fairly flat top that we have going on here. Been trading in this flat top triangle of sorts. So that 376 aligns there, and target would be all time high. Nvidia showed some strength yesterday. We're back to this like 208, 212 range. I do like that 212, 215 area being like a magnet above us. Could dip at the open and we can hold that 208, uh, 208, 59. It's a little bit below yesterday's highs, but that's a level that I have um, been very important. So we tested it yesterday and failed to push above. So if you do get a dip there, I do like this one. There's some relative strength in semiconductors this morning. SMH is actually up about 3.63%. So it's kind of leading the watch list in terms of indices, ETFs, stuff like that. So I don't hate this. The only caveat with all this is that we do have A&D earnings coming up after the close. So just have to wait and see if that has any effect at all, negative or positive on NVIDIA. So yeah, I'll watch that dip, see how it acts. I like to watch NVIDIA a little closely, like throughout the day. If it's showing relative strength, it's often a good kind of scalp, maybe, and if not, then we're just kind of hands off. Spot SPOT, I added it as an offside play. It's pushed lower here ever since I looked at it. At least I usually like the offside plays to be -2, 3%. It's now down 6%, so it's going to be harder. I have traded spot in the past where it started, I think it was 7 or 8%, and then actually made that red to green move, and it provided us with a multi-day runner. So just because of that, I'll keep a closer eye on this one. But ideally, what you want to see is a red to green move on this one, and so we have to give this a little time, see how it resolves. I think anything above 470 could be interesting for a turn. Uh, will be a little bit of a front run to that red to green, obviously. But at some point, once you start seeing volume come in and you see momentum, you can play that magnet move into the red to green attempt. And only if it flips red to green can get that kind of offsite play. But if you're really excited about this one, just keep a close eye on it. It just swept the PM low here, previous PM low. Spot is interesting, and then SNDK is something to keep an eye on today. There's no real structure here. PM, it's up 6%. Um, I don't know if the potential ban by Trump, uh, China to import photonics, like AI equipment, photonics, stuff like that. I don't know if it has any effect on SNDK, but looks good. Looks extended here. I would just kind of watch and see what it does off the open. 1330. If you could hold there, could be something to watch. Um, yeah, some of these photonics, if we can just kind of quickly get into it, they're interesting. It's just that they're fairly extended. So AAOI, LITE, those are the two primary ones that I'm looking at. So LITE, we can start there because you have the chart up. Um, Obviously, it's been in a heavy downturn, so we just have to wait and see if this actually can hold this gain and push higher. Let's see if it's a sell the news thing. We just have to wait and see, I guess. I'm not going to trade this, but just kind of calling it out as there's a bit of a theme today when it comes to that headline. AAOI would be the second name. Consolidating nicely PM here. So it could be a nice little kind of open for this one. So, just keep an eye on these. I don't really have like trade ideas around these. I don't know if Mateo, you want to add anything to this, but for me, just as a theme, it's at least something that's kind of something that we can keep an eye on.
Yeah, something to watch. I would say the RSI is pretty good on AAOI in that
Hmm.
structure. So your assumption's right on that. And it's not terrible on LITE, but that 900 psych level on LITE is pretty interesting.
Hmm.
So yeah, maybe easier to trade these with shares, but if
Yeah,
nothing else,
definitely.
a signal for other trades too in the space.
Yeah, I mean, you could keep an eye on this 129 on AAOI, and then the next area of, I think, even better support would be this like 120 area, 119, 120.
Mm.
If you see a little bit of a pullback into that, it could be something that's fairly defined on the daily. Uh, so that could be a nice like dip buy. A little bit spready this name, and so that's why I think Mateus calling out stock common could be something like a way to trade this. So that's all I got. Um, so yeah, it's exciting. I mean, if I can just 2 seconds here before Sarang takes over. In terms of SPX, I mean, I'm with JM on everything they said. Just keeping in mind where we are, what we've been doing for months now, since pretty much May, we've been basically in a range here. So what's happening now is that we're attempting to break out of this range, and so um, it does feel like a chase a little bit. I rather buy that 7600 back or 7620. That's the all-time high that we're kind of that we've broken through here, and we're trading above. I'd rather see a little bit of a validation of this push higher, but big picture, this could keep going towards 7,800, 7,850 if this breakout holds and goes. So I think it's pretty exciting where we are. I think this bounce here is strong, and it's one of those like I've noticed over the last 2 years at least. When the bounce comes, you have to be very quick to kind of jump on it. If you're thinking too much about it, sometimes you miss out. So I'm not saying to rush into anything, but uh, you know, the price is telling us what it's telling us, and so we have to wait for those levels and take the trade. And if it fails, it fails. But we have to be brave, and we have to take the trades that are there. So that's kind of my mindset in terms of the overall market. I think JM outlined the levels that we need to watch very, very clearly. Sarang, you're up, sir. Sarang, can you hear us, sir? I don't hear you. All right, he's signing out, signing back in. That means he has some audio issues. Let's give him a minute. We have about 10 to go. I don't think Sarang's audio is working here. So Sarang, if you can hear me, just try to figure that out. And meanwhile, I'm just going to go through some individual names that the members are calling out here, just so we can. All right. So the market is squeezing here.
Can you hear me?
Big pop. Yeah. Hey, Sarang, just give me a second before you get going here. SPX
Yeah.
is pushing higher here very quickly. So uh, likely headline, less something else, but market is pushing higher very quickly. Okay, Sarang, how about you get started and then we'll keep an eye out for any headline.
Yeah, that's no problem. So I think mainly I'm watching the PLTR. I have the same plan like Mate, so I'm watching dip below 143 and reclaim for opening drive trade. That's the plan. And second thing I'm watching Spotify. Actually, the Spotify earning is good, but the guidance
Hmm.
is weaker. So I'm
Hmm.
watching two things here, like 468, 470 area for the rejection,
Hmm.
targeting 450 and 435. But if we reclaim this 468 and 470 area and hold the dips, then it's a no more short for me. I think the pure plan will work. Yes, monkey like going long on this one because the numbers are really good, but the only thing is the guidance is weak. So that's the plan for Spotify. I think CAT is also looking good. CAT actually
Yeah.
930 area is the previous all-time high.
Mm.
If you look at on the daily, yeah, that's the area 930 area is the previous all-time high. So, but the pre spreads would be very wide at the open. So maybe just wait for an intraday setup on this one because with the options we won't be able to trade the Spotify at the open, especially at least 15-20 minutes. So we won't be able to trade the options on the CAT. Uh, from technical setup perspective, I like AVGO. There is a strength in semiconductors, so I have been watching this name for a couple of weeks. So AVGO, I think this 403, 405 area is the defined one. Yeah, so that's we're wrapping about that. So there is no news especially, but this stock actually is lagging as compared to other semiconductors. So I'll be watching this reclaim of 405 area on AVGO for 410 calls on AVGO. And yeah, I think Apple you guys covered very well. So below 300, the same plan like Mate and use space. So yeah, that's all from my end, I think.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay, so the headline that just dropped here before Sarang started was that the an announcement is expected regarding the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, a high-ranking source told Al Arabiya. So once again, we're getting headlines out of the negotiations that have been going on for months, um, and the algos are buying and then selling. So um, this pop is a bit tricky here, and I think it kind of it's gonna make it a little trickier for us. But let's see what happens here. Let's take a look at a few different names here that you guys are calling out here. We do have less than 5 minutes to go here. Nvidia, I've talked about. A lot more to add to that. If it could hold yesterday's highs, 208 and change, 210, 212, 215 above. Could be nice. SMH is relatively strong here today. A&D risk is sorry, earnings after market hours. So let's see what way that kind of affects these semiconductors. They sell into this pop or if they keep buying it. Um, Microsoft is interesting to watch, but I would say this one is fairly extended. It keeps surprising me with how strong it is, but yesterday's highs was the top of a previous bounce area that we were in for quite a while, around that 490, 470. That was a big kind of range that we were in for a while and then broke the low. So I'm not surprised that we're seeing resistance there, but 500 is above. GS, yeah, for me, it's looking a little bit like another attempt to recover the 9-day moving average, sitting in a little bit what looks like a bear flag. It's kind of stair stepping lower here on the daily, so nice comeback. Let's see what it does. Hood, it might have some juice. I don't see a setup here, but let's hope for that.
93 is interesting to me, Sweet Smoky.
Okay,
A possible reclaim type setup. And that June 26 low.
gotcha. Sign in here too. Things MBIS. I do like MBIS. I think that's a really good setup. This there's a nice little supply zone here. There's 233 to I would say 230. You can clear that. I think you can see all-time highs. 50 days at 224. We just tested it yesterday and failed to kind of close above, but it sure looks really strong here as we have earnings just in a few days on the 12th.
Pre-market structure is pretty good. RSI is very reset.
Okay.
It feels like coiled up, so if it gets a breakthrough that pre-market high, it could be a nice opening drive
Okay.
or give and go if it wicks sweeps that 212. Be a really good one today. Actually, I
Just
don't
gonna
watch
mention
that.
I'm just gonna mention Amazon here before the open. I am holding those calls that are likely be dead here, 285 calls. Apparently, Bezos sold into or selling shares. The market does not like it, fortunately. Let's see what it does here. But just kind of hands off for me there. It was a roll up, so those are gonna go to zero likely.
I'll be right.
Yeah. ASTS, yeah, it's I mean first sign of life yesterday with potential bottom up nicely here. Earnings on the 10th, so could see some short covering maybe after a fairly nice downtrend. Also, SpaceX has earnings coming up, so these space names might catch a bit of a bid. SpaceX has earnings after the close today. I'm just gonna take a minute here to get myself settled. Yeah, I think Tesla. Watch yesterday's highs. You might see a little bit of continuation. Let's see. Nvidia big candle here before the open, tagging that 212 19 area likely here before the open. Unfortunately, Microsoft nice little pop here into what was yesterday's ATR level. Apple, let's see if they sell into this. I kind of like to put play on Apple. It's just harder for me to short Apple in this kind of tape, but I think it's a really good trade to watch. SPX is holding gains nicely here after that pop, kind of sitting in a pennant. Yeah, I don't really have anything that I'm loving like I did yesterday with Amazon at the open. So I'm just gonna give this a second to settle, and I might miss some open drives or whatever, but we'll see what happens here. I'll be focused on SPX too. I do like 7600 dip, 7635, 7650 worth of watch as well.
Good big pop.
What's up with Hood? Like people just kind of pulled that out of a hat. Like they're interested in it. Is it because of where we are, or is there a catalyst?
No,
Sure,
it had
weighing
a
in.
earning actually. No, it had a earning. So I think I was watching opponent the offside
Oh,
play.
okay.
And
Yeah, they
rate was
had
set
earnings
because
a
I
few.
was watching
Okay.
last week.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Market open here. Let's take a look. BX is above that 7620, testing 7635. Google strong pop here. 376 worth of watch on Google. SPX big move here towards PM high. Just like that. PLTR testing PM highs here. Nice open drive, dip and rip kind of thing. 200 days at 152 PLTR. Strong push PLTR here towards
Yeah,
that
fill the
150.
150s. You know, watch 150 close. It's a decent level. You want to see it break through pretty quick.
Amazon looking strong here, coming back nicely.
Up on SNDK. Pretty strong rejection on PLTR. That's at 149.64.
Microsoft red to green attempt here. App go moving. Microsoft red to green. It's really strong here, moving towards 76.50, 76.60. ZS breaking out of a range on the daily as well. Something we talked about yesterday. Google might want to try to go red to green here. Google looking pretty strong.
Got a pretty tight stop around 145 on PLTR. If it can't clear 150 soon, then I'd just rather revisit it later. Premium's holding up pretty good.
Nice.
The DK, that was really nice. Almost got to that 1330 spot we talked about in the pre-market. Right to 1400. Some resistant 1408 resistance.
Meta bouncing here. Dell 450 test here. Dell 450.
Up the R new highs. It's filling 1/3 PLTR here. You can get a great fill, so I'm happy taking some off. Nice push. Can always look for a secondary trade too. Big flags. Tightens up intraday. So be a little bit more aggressive taking profits on this.
$200-day moving average is at 150, 250 PLTR.
We call it.
Crowd 210 test.
Playing another third of crowd. Or I'm sorry, PLTR. You made me say crowd.
Sorry. Apple testing yesterday's lows. It popped, and they're trying to sell into it here. Crowd very strong here, guys. PA and W. ZS, huge breakout above that daily range high. See some real nice PA there on in software. IGV back to 100, testing +1 ATR. Yeah, D-Dog really nice from yesterday, today. Software really, really strong. They'll gap up here and testing all-time highs shortly. ATR is exactly where all-time highs is pretty much. SPX, nice little test of 7650 area and now retreating a bit. That's a nice little kind of gamma level. Apple pretty weak here, guys. This is where you want to see NVIDIA hold.
Two-bar trail PLTR. 150. Trail stop.
Watch spot red to green move here. The extremely strong going into earnings here, guys. Okay, so I just got filled here, Apple 300 puts. Watch spot red to green here, offside play.
Out PLTR, 2 bar trail. Looks fine. Just really not the best fill in the world, so just trade the opening drive and I'll let it set up from here. If you see it hold dips above 150, it's bullish. I'm gonna wait for structure for a roll up or secondary trade, but nice little win off the open.
I'm not liking this apple, so I'm gonna cut it. All out. A little too strong. Didn't break yesterday's lows.
PLTR new high of day looks good here. Those calls are up 60. S&P new highs. SNDK dip got bought really quick. Microsoft, Google strong. Video respecting 212.19. Microsoft and Google so strong. Amazon looks pent up here on the 278 PLTR highs. Apple failed breakdown. NBIS and Nvidia a little weaker, turning lower. OITE sold off at the open. AAOI stronger. Okay, rejected at 1408, pretty much perfectly. I'll be on mute for just a sec. Stepping away.